All right. Hey, we're back with Beyond the Forecast, and I have completely lost count of what episode we are on. But it's an episode.
I don't know.
And Michael, it's been a good day.
Yeah, it's been a very good day, and I'm actually looking at why it's a good day, albeit I can't say yet.
Sure.
As soon as I can say, we will say.
Yeah, for sure. The sun is out.
The sun is out.
Which has been a rare occurrence as of late around here in the Ohio Valley. I'm sure that many of you would like to see some more sun, some summer-like weather.
Yep.
That might happen a little bit this weekend, early next week.
Yeah, I see 70s and sunshine being possible this weekend in the Ohio Valley and stuff. So
should be fairly nice.
Yeah.
But let's before we get into it, did you have anything else that you wanted to? You always like to chit chat a little bit.
Yeah, I like to chat a little bit.
Deep into the discussion.
The Indiana Pacers. I mean,
woo!
How about that? That's fun.
Could go to the finals tonight, right?
Game 5 tonight, 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Madison Square Garden.
So, I'm not going to watch because every time I've watched, they've lost. So I'm not.
So you've only watched one time.
Yeah. Well, it's past my bedtime.
Okay.
Well, no, but not just this series, but the last series too.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but in this series, yes, I've only watched the one game.
Do you go to bed early?
I do. Well, the game's at 8, and it's not over till 11. I get up at 4:30. So
sure. Yeah. No. Well, what I was doing real quick, I was trying to click on our live YouTube video.
Is YouTube not working? Well, it's there.
It says it's there, but it's not letting me click on it.
Let me try.
But anyways, no, I'm excited for the Pacers, and I'm excited for the announcement that we have for the big win that we had today. It's not every day. Well, never mind. I'm excited. So if you guys have watched the last few podcasts, we've gotten into alerting and the issue and the funding with the Weather Service and the alerts that are being missed, which to my understanding, we've had some of that last night.
Yeah.
I mean, so I had one guy from a division of NOAA on my LinkedIn. He was mad. And because we had issued a blog or a video about the St. Louis tornado warnings.
Yeah.
Or tornado sirens and the lack thereof of the warning, really. And, he was just really pissed off because, we've seen people try and issue their own warnings before, and we know how this goes. And that doesn't work. And I'm like, and your system is working?
Why doesn't it work?
I don't know.
It did work.
I don't think maybe it didn't. I don't know. I think maybe other people have tried it and it hasn't been consistent. I don't know why. Who knows? It doesn't matter. But, it's as I mentioned a couple of times now, the thought process in this field is broken.
Mm-hmm.
It's old and it's broke. And people don't like, this industry does not like when someone comes in and does something new and different. It's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I would even go beyond that. I think that the world in general doesn't like change.
Oh, for sure. I think
it's extra here because we have the industry as the world has evolved.
Yeah.
I don't think that our industry has evolved as much in the past 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
Model data maybe has gotten a little better, maybe, versus where it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, speaking of that.
Maps, model websites and mapping has gotten better.
Yeah.
If you compare what weather model maps looked like 10 years ago to what they look like now,
yeah,
they've definitely improved.
Yeah.
I don't know if the data has gotten substantially better, but the visual definitely has. And I think that there continues to just be things in this field and weather in general that people don't know any better or they're afraid to try something different. And that's kind of where we're going to go with the topic today. We've talked about alerts. We want to talk about hardware. And this really applies to schools, it applies to government, it applies to organizations that are monitoring lightning, monitoring wet bulb globe temperature, things like that some other organizations will sell very expensive hardware. You could add an observed rainfall into that as well to monitor this weather data. That's not necessarily needed, if you will.
Yeah. The hardware thing is maddening to me, and here's why is because we've actually sold and installed it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I remember.
Yeah, I have actually dismantled some of those things. Oh, hi, thank you. Say you're on camera. Say hi.
You're live.
Yeah, you're live on YouTube. What are you guys doing? My kids just walked in, so we're saying hi to them.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi. What do you got? Starbucks there? You're gonna be on.
You're too young to be drinking coffee. Is it hot chocolate? Yeah.
How was basketball?
Good.
It's good. Okay. What are you guys going to do? Okay.
Do a car wash.
Okay.
It's a good day to do it.
Well, we're gonna talk about some stuff. We're on a podcast right now. Call you in a little bit. Love you guys.
Good to see you all.
See you. Bye. So yeah, we've installed the hardware, and we have we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've watched it work. We've watched it work too well, which, by the way, is a problem. And we've watched it be like, why isn't it going off? What's going on?
Yeah.
In fact, we have a client story. Can't mention names or where and when and who. That has a particular competitor's hardware product and has our platform. And the physical hardware that's installed at their particular location will go off, set sirens, make a horn noise in the event that lightning is occurring. Mm-hmm. Well, a couple weeks ago, when severe weather was rolling through the area, it didn't go off, and ours did. And so when you think about the malfunctioning of that, well, there could be a number of things. It could be that there was a power trip and it didn't have backup power. It could be that it didn't send the Wi-Fi signal.
It wasn't calibrated right.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things.
There's a lot of potential error in there.
There's so many things that can mess up these hardware platforms. And the problem is people have been led to believe that you've got to have them.
Yeah.
The big thing is there are companies that claim you can predict a lightning strike. There's companies that claim they have the best detection lightning strike, proactive, reactive. Let me tell you a little bit of something about lightning data for just a second as it pertains to hardware, because a lot of weather hardware is gonna run around the idea of detecting lightning, alerting for lightning. There are only a very few, and it could be 2, it could be 3. I don't think it's more than 3. I'd have to double check before I say it, obviously, but actual lightning data vendors in the world that are actually collecting lightning data and distributing where it strikes, how it strikes.
Yeah.
And what you have to understand is with this stuff is it's honestly it's cool technology. And it helps you understand that there is lightning and it is coming. But pinpointing it and being first or second or third or 2 seconds, 1 second, 6 seconds, whatever the case may be, it's kind of snake oil. Mm-hmm. Like, we need lightning detection.
Absolutely.
We need to know where it's at. But claiming you're the best and you've got this and you've got that, it's really whoever packages it the best.
Sure.
It's all doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's alerting for lightning. Congratulations. Another way to alert for lightning is to look in the sky and you see it.
Sure. Which does potentially come up with some issues as well. Because
for sure.
Heat lightning, right, if you will. You can see lightning. Heat lightning is just lightning that you can see in a distant storm.
Yep.
So you can see lightning, especially during a warm summer night, 50 plus miles away.
Way far away.
And, as a school or an outdoor event, you don't want to be shutting things down because you see lightning, but it's actually 50 miles away.
Yeah, that would be stupid. But people do it.
There's a lot
people
of policies. There
Yep.
are a lot of policies across the country still that if you see lightning,
You got to delay it.
You've got to delay. Yeah. And a lot of the times, it's probably the right call, but there's definitely situations that come up where you see lightning 20 miles away and it's really no threat to you. I mean, if it's within 10 miles, sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. But there's no reason to be delaying or canceling events because you see lightning that's 40, 50 miles away.
No. And I want to give the listeners, the basic premise behind lightning detection. So, when you listen to like the old AM radio stations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now I'm going to do something. It's going to be weird. Hopefully you guys are ready for this. It's going to be a little strange.
Okay.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to imitate to you what it sounds like to listen to the AM radio stations. So what you have to do, and I learned this from an old friend, Brian Wilkes at Fox 59. So here's what you do when you want to hear that old radio station. You talk and you go, "You're listening to 1070 The Fan on an AM radio station." Yeah, so that's what it sounds like because it's transmitting all of these different sound waves. I know it's crazy, but
it is weird.
And then when you're listening to it and you hear it, and then you hear, let's say it's storming, and you're listening to AM radio, and you hear a lightning strike. What do you hear on the radio? Do you know what you hear?
I don't.
Because you've never listened. Because he's 30 years younger than me. You hear it static. It detects the lightning strike.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, every time. So these lightning detection systems are glorified transmitters, and they detect static electricity, which is what lightning is.
Yeah.
It's a magnified level of static electricity. Well, the detection companies, these different companies that have developed lightning detection systems, prediction systems, they have a metal plate in them, about this big, seriously. And they have little nodes on the sides, and you're scanning the atmosphere for electricity. It's a voltmeter. And what the voltmeter is connected to the metal plate, and the metal plate is a conductor for electricity and for energy. So you're pulling in the conduction of the energy through this plate, and it's able to detect if it's a positive or a negative ion. So how are we detecting if it's cloud to ground or cloud to cloud? Well, we're determining the energetic setup through the profile that the voltmeter is reading.
Sure.
And so seriously, when I tell you guys, when you're buying hardware and you're looking at this stuff and you're considering a $25,000 investment for a freaking, I almost said a lot of bad words. I almost said the F word and the S word and the B word, all in the same sentence.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to use that for future videos, but when you can bleep it out.
Yeah, when you're considering this, you're buying just hogwash. I promise you. And in today's world, the technology is so much more reliant and less risky and less expensive if it's in the form of API data-driven technology.
Sure.
It's cheaper by far, and you don't have to worry about it not working, as we just saw at a big school campus in an area close by the last couple weeks.
Yeah. And I think that all of that, I think number one, everybody, at the end of the day, everybody's concerned about money, right? Everybody's concerned about money, and that is a very easy, very simple way to save yourself a whole bunch of money, because $25,000, you compare that to adding on lightning on a platform like Clarity, it's not even in the same ballpark to be able to monitor, and you're limited. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Michael, but let's say we have a school district and they have 10 different schools. Then do you need to go in and install 10 different lightning detection hardware systems, if you will?
I mean, we had to do that at Center Grove. Center Grove schools 7 years ago paid $60,000 for this system. Had they have had Clarity, let's say we had Clarity 7 years ago, but we didn't, and they wanted to cover all the schools, it would have taken 15 years to pay that kind of money for the same stuff. And And because we had to install horns at all of these locations, every time the stinking thunderstorm rolls through, possibly, the horns across the Center Grove community are going off. In fact, Brian and I, the B and BAM, we installed all of them. We text still because him and I can hear the horns going off. Well, here they are. Mm-hmm. There are Thor guards going off. And they still go off. And the problem is, they go off so many times for, did I say the name of the product out loud?
You did.
That's unfortunate. I don't really care. But what happens is, a lot of times it'll go off and it doesn't even need to.
Yeah.
So then listen, I know because my daughter goes to school there. It's off, out. Doesn't matter if it's coming, if it's a threat, if it's not a threat. If it detects the potential for a cloud-to-ground lightning strike, well, then it goes off. Mm-hmm. You know, how did I even get on? Where am I even going with that? How did I get on that topic?
I think you're just explaining to everybody.
I'm trying to get people to see it.
The inefficiency of it.
Yeah.
The expensiveness.
Yep.
Is that a word? Expensiveness? I don't know.
It is today.
It is today.
Yeah.
These systems, they're unnecessary, they're inefficient, they're expensive, they're just not necessary. We are trying to help you. You know, if you are reliant on lightning and you have been bogged down and paid a ton of money, and probably there's some upkeep with it, maintenance, and probably needing to spend more money down the road. You might know better about that than me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
you never have to do that with a service that you can get right on your phone.
What happens when you have a large, tall object on a roof? What's it subject to?
Yeah, it's subject to lightning strike.
Your lightning detector is lightning struck. Uh-huh. It's happened. We've had to go out and replace the brains of these units because they get fried.
Yeah.
That's a true story. A big park here in Indiana, for years we were advocates of this. We wanted them to get it. They got it. We started to see the inefficiencies, so did they. They ripped it off. $15,000 down the pooper, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, people get sold on the idea of you see the hardware and it looks good. The people think you're really monitoring and you're really safe, and it's a malfunctioning risk. But again, the brains behind any alerting platform like this, you have to understand you're being made to believe that there's one better option than the other. Even the lightning data that we offer inside of Clarity, it's great. It updates in 1 second intervals and it's accurate down to within 500 feet. Awesome. So is all the other lightning data. Okay? It's all about how it's being packaged and presented to you. Mm-hmm. One lightning provider may log a lightning strike 3 seconds prior to your lightning data across the street or 3 miles away. 3 seconds later, we alert for a strike in a similar location. In another instance, we might alert 3 seconds earlier and that provider is 3 seconds later. Could be 30-second differences. My point to this is, it's all hardware that's detecting the lightning strike to begin with. It's prone to error, and there's not one better than the other. Mm-hmm. And so taking it a step further and adding your own hardware to the already hardwared system,
sure,
you're doubling the rate of error and the false alerting and the guessing. It's not necessary, is the whole thing I'm trying to say here. And I only know it because I've done it. We installed this system for the entire town of Dyer, Indiana. The whole town, dude. We put like 16 of them in. I mean, these guys paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. So we have seen the circus, seen the strings. I can tell you all there is to know about this type of stuff because I've been boots on the ground, tightening bolts, and hanging equipment.
Yeah.
And I've seen it over the years and how it works and how the weather reacts to it. And I promise you, it is not where you need to be. It's not it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think that, I would anticipate as technology continues to improve and sensor networks for lightning continue to be improved, there's going to become less and less with time and need. There's not a need now, but even more so, what you can get here is going to become just continue to get better and better and better, and there's a limitation on this. Mm-hmm. There's a limitation on this, and that's not going to change.
It's the same concept, which in the video I put out we put out the blog and the video last Friday on the St. Louis tornadoes. It's the same concept, and it should piss you off, because when I think about it, it honestly does piss me off, is the sirens weren't set off, the hardware was not set off because someone couldn't go in and push a button. Okay? That's an even bigger limitation. Now we have these tornado sirens that cost, Google, how much does a tornado siren cost? Google it. It's got to be $100,000. We have all these sirens placed throughout the area that are supposed to alert people of life-saving efforts. Hardware that isn't working because a human couldn't touch it.
A single tornado siren can cost between $20,000 and $30,000 to install. Some towns may need multiple sirens to adequately cover a large area. For example, one source states that a town might need 34 sirens at a cost of $30,000 each, totaling $1.02 million for tornado sirens for one town.
All for them to not even go off, not even to press the button.
And you can't hear them inside.
No, they're not designed to be heard inside.
No, and I think we've talked about it before, but a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, they don't get it. Right now my son has an infatuation with pointing out tornado sirens to me. Where are they? Asks all the questions that you can ask about them, wants to know all about them. And on Fridays at 11, when they test them, we have a tornado. If I step outside my back door to a field to my right, I can see the tornado siren. On Fridays, if the wind is blowing from the southwest and it's carrying towards that tornado siren, we can't hear it. The wind literally alters the sound. Even when the siren spins, if the wind is blowing towards the siren, it deafens the sound of the siren to where it's not even noticeable. If the wind's coming from the north, because the siren's north of us, then you can double hear it. Mm-hmm. So you got to think about this in a situation when a freaking tornado's coming, how the wind is reacting and altering sound patterns in the tornado sirens. These are things people don't think about. Half the damn tornado sirens aren't even going to be heard. It's so windy, and it's carrying the sound away anyways.
Yeah.
Even if they are going off. And so you're spending millions of dollars for a system, again, that's not working. And my point to this is, if we would double down and focus in on enhancing, slimming down warning areas, proactively issuing warnings with further lead time than, say, 7 minutes, we would dramatically change. Everybody's on this all the time.
Sure.
There's been leaps and bounds and strides towards trying to make this better. But the best way to do this is to location-specific. There needs to be like a software that is required to be on all phones. Mm-hmm. Like from the factory.
Sure. That
if you're inside the polygon, you're getting an alert that really just drives you crazy and tells you it's coming.
Yeah.
Hardware, external pieces, maintenance for tornadoes, lightning, wind, hail, it's not the answer. Because here's the problem most of the time now with any hardware equipment. Most of the time, 99% of the time, when the hardware goes off and is sounding, what do you think the reaction is?
Panic, probably.
Well, I would disagree.
In terms of the tornado sirens, or do people just ignore it? I guess it's probably a little bit of both. Some people panic, and some people are like, "Oh, there's the sirens again."
See if Google or ChatGPT will tell you how many people ignore tornado sirens. There's had to have been studies. So think about tornado sirens going off. most of the time, everybody walks outside with their phone, and they put it in their hands, and they turn the video on.
We are in the Midwest. Yeah, that is
What
true.
that? I don't see it, And most of the time, it probably doesn't come or whatever, and thankfully it doesn't. But think about now a weather lightning warning system when it goes off. People, at some point, it's going to be like, gosh, this is actually annoying the hell out of me. This thing, again, good night. So now you've taken the human out, and the humans are having to rely on this. And what it's doing now in a society where we already have very short attention spans, people are just getting pissed off. Mm-hmm. And they're desensitized, and they don't want to hear it.
Sure. This says, according to Grok, 30 to 50% or more in some areas may delay or ignore the sirens. It did bring up 2011 NOAA assessment of the Joplin, Missouri tornado, which killed 158 people, found that a vast majority of residents did not immediately take shelter upon hearing the initial siren, often due to desensitization from frequent false alarms.
Yep.
Many waited for additional confirmation, like seeing the tornado or hearing media reports.
That right there is, you could end the podcast with that. That's the podcast.
Yeah.
Because, the hardware side of this, and companies that push hardware, I'm going to tell you why they do it. Because we used to do it. We used to do this. They push hardware because you could make a lot of money on the installations.
Sure. And I do want to make a note real quick. Lightning, tornado sirens, there's other hardware that's being pushed out as well for heat, wet bulb globe temperature. Mm-hmm. That is also you're defined to a specific location, and it's expensive, and there's maintenance, and there's upkeep. Again, right here. You can get it right here.
I have it on my phone right now, what the wet bulb globe temperature is without any hardware.
Yeah.
We don't need hardware.
It's the satellite sensors, the observational network, the model initialization that goes into all of these observations that are down to within a mile of your location, basically. That's the grid point.
Yep.
Right? They've become so high resolution and so accurate that it would be silly to put 15 of those sensors at different schools, because it's just as accurate right here with the technology we have.
From a weather providing company that is acting as if the stations they're putting out are theirs. Mm-hmm. And they're redistributed from a company that makes weather stations that anyone can buy on Amazon for $300.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's another element to that too, and it's repackaged BS.
Yeah.
It's BS. For example, I have one of those high-tech weather stations at my house. It's live. It reports every second. I'm looking at it right now. Okay. Wet bulb temperature on my station at home is 65.4.
Okay. All
right. In my application for the same location, it's reading the wet bulb temperature is 64. So the air temperature is 65, and it's reading that the air temperature for me is 66.
And you could argue that,
who cares? I don't know
if I don't know, where's your weather station at your house? If it's close to your house, or it's by a fence, or if it's on concrete.
Yeah.
That 1 degree is nothing.
Yeah.
I could walk across this room.
Yep.
And it's probably 1 degree warmer on that side of the room because the air is coming out over here.
Yep. People understand that.
And I don't think people understand that it's the same way in your yard.
Yep. And
on a blacktop.
Yep.
And at a track meet.
Yep.
And it can vary 100 feet away.
Yep.
And that's how micro scale that weather can be.
It is. Yeah, so I think the takeaway today is when it comes to weather alerting of any kind and hardware run, you do not need weather stations. You do not need outdoor hardware alerting platforms. They will desensitize, annoy, break, malfunction, and cost you money. There's no doubt. It all sounds great and fun in the beginning, and you get sold a nice package with a great looking little thing on it and flashy lights and neat noises. At the end of the day, everybody's left pissed off because they don't work or they go off too much.
And then you're out $20,000.
Then you're out. That's low. Then you
or more.
Yeah, and then you're paying yearly license fees, by the way. So you're paying yearly over for it anyways. So I'm telling you, do your research. If you want to know, if you want the truth about anything in this industry, you can reach out to us. We will tell it to you. I mean, we are big on that, and it is working because people are coming over here left and right, including the big one we got today, which I can't say yet, but it's a big one. It's fun. Do we have anything else on that? We've been talking for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think that hit I think you just hit all the key points right there. It's time to open our minds a little bit with this topic and more, that there are better ways. There are simpler ways. There are more proactive ways. There are more accurate and less costly ways. All of that sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
All that sounds good. There are ways to make your life easier. It does not have to be status quo.
You know what people buy?
Energy drinks?
Well, yes, they do. They buy improvement.
Yeah.
People buy 85% of the sales process done by a recent study says that if you can improve someone's process, they're going to buy it. They don't care about you. They don't care about your company. They don't care about the product. They don't care about anything. If you can improve their overall well-being and what they do, they're going to buy it. Which, by the way, don't you think a First Form energy drink with like a lightning bolt through it, and it like the flavor was called lightning? Like just,
yeah.
I don't know, like, and it was like almost like a like berry burst flavor that had all the different berry flavors, and then it had like the BAM logo on it too.
Do you think lightning and berry? I was thinking like something sour.
Could be sour, yeah, like a warhead.
Something that really hits you hard, hits you in the face. Because I don't think you'd want to get struck by lightning.
I actually want to, but I don't want to die.
Did you know that one of the best golfers in the early 2000s got struck by lightning? And he went on to win multiple majors.
Really?
Yeah. His name was Retief Goosen.
Oh, I actually remember this.
Yeah,
I do.
And he, I think the story was, you'll have to double check me, but he was playing golf and he pointed a 1-iron or some kind of iron up to the sky and got struck by lightning.
So he was intimidating it.
Yeah, and it said,
you can't intimidate. You can't intimidate the Greek gods.
And his watch melted into his wrist, but he survived, and he
wow.
He went on to win majors. And
I wish I could say that.
Be a great golfer.
Could you imagine? I'm such a badass. I stuck my golf club in the air. Lightning struck me, and here I am.
Yeah.
You know.
I think he still plays on the senior tour. He's an old guy now, but
yeah.
So
he's probably pretty charged up.
I would imagine. I mean, if you survive a lightning strike.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no energy drinks for him. He doesn't need them.
No. Share it with a friend. Leave us a review in the podcast. This is important stuff.
And you know, if you're not a decision maker for a school or an outdoor event or a city or a town or government or whatever, tag somebody that is. Tag your superintendent. Tag your athletic director. Let them know they can stop wasting money.
Yeah.
I'm sure that all of you all would like to have more money put into libraries or educational programs and sporting events and whatnot, marketing for your school in terms of you know, T-shirts and sweatshirts and all that stuff.
Some schools use the Booster Club money to do this stuff, by the way. Excuse me. So the Booster Club money is money that will be used for everything you just said.
Yeah. So let them know that, hey, we're going to save you some money.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.